It's Thursday, it's a Cardinals off day, and the team itself, especially the bullpen, could really use it after last night's 4-2 loss to the Seattle Mariners in 13 innings. Welcome back to Cardinal Territory, your official St. Louis Cardinals podcast on the Foul Territory Network. I'm your host, Katie Woo. Heading into the week, the Cardinals had clawed their way back to 500 after winning 3 straight series against the Cincinnati Reds, the Athletics, and the San Francisco Giants. And then they made their way to T-Mobile Park and were promptly swept by the Mariners in 3 games. Wednesday's game felt especially brutal, especially given how well pitched it was. Michael McGreevy posted a bounce-back outing after he was tagged for 6 runs and 4 innings by the Giants last week. He limited Seattle's homer-happy lineup and logged a quality start, 6 innings, 1 earned run, 5 hits, 4 strikeouts, 0 walks. The biggest difference for me in McGreevy's start today was how aggressive he came out in the first inning. We know that's been kind of a focal point for McGreevy, is trying to establish himself and his stuff early in games. A lot of times we've seen him come out and kind of get hit a little hard in the first and second innings and then settle down. He said that he had a conversation with Sonny Gray, who said, you need to pitch the first inning like you're a closer. And he came out super strong against a Seattle Mariners lineup that features Randy Arozarena, perhaps Cardinals fans are familiar with him. Cal Raleigh, the potential American League MVP. Julio Rodriguez and Josh Naylor. Those are the first 4 batters the Mariners have in their lineup. Must be nice to have some thump. But Michael McGreevy, I thought, pitched really well. It's a shame that we probably won't be talking about it too much because of what transpired after. The bullpen was also nails. Matt Swanson continues to dominate. He and Jojo Romero combined to log 3 innings of scoreless ball with 4 strikeouts. And how about Riley O'Brien showing against his former team in his home state to be able to get out of a bases loaded, no outs jam, and hold the tie there in the 11th was super impressive as well. Ryan Fernandez, I thought, did a nice job in the 12th, but at some point the Mariners were going to take advantage of the Cardinals' inability to score. They scored in the first inning on Ivan Herrera's solo shot and then did not score again until the 11th. So it was not exactly a surprise when the first pitch of the bottom of the 13th was hammered for a walk-off homer by Leo Rivas. Tough loss for the Cardinals, who have now fallen back to 3 games under 500. Especially frustrating because it was such a well-pitched game. I mean, from McGreevy to the bullpen. Yeah, Fernandez, the 13th, ultimately loses the game. But again, that comes down to the inability to score, which is what plagued the Cardinals for the majority of this series. So it's frustrating. But one thing that I want to point out from this series, and this is not, I don't want to make this a bigger deal than it is, but I think it was just a microcosm of what we should be looking for as fans, as media, as the Cardinals begin a true rebuild season. The Cardinals, again, like I said, did not score for 9 innings. Ivan Herrera's solo shot off Logan Gilbert, and then nothing. They went 2 for 22 with runners in scoring position, so that is really not great. But the scoring opportunity they squandered the most, and this is including the bases loaded opportunity that they left, the runners in scoring position in second and third in the middle innings. The biggest opportunity they squandered came in the 10th when Herrera was the automatic runner at second base. I'll look at my scorebook because there's no way, as I record this after midnight on the West Coast, that I can remember 13 innings of baseball accurately. So let's look at the book. Herrera is the automatic runner in the 10th, and you have Alec Burleson, who lines out to right field, and that's a tag play for Herrera. But for some inexplicable reason, he breaks for third base on contact, and he's about 60% of the way to third base before that ball is caught in right field. He has to scamper back to second base. By then, you can't tag up. And you can see he's frustrated. Third base coach Pop Warner is kind of standing on the third base box with his hands on his hips like, hey, what's going on? Herrera's mad. It's obvious. He's smacking his leg a little bit. Like, you know that he messed up. He should have tagged. What caught me off guard was when the next play, Wilson Contreras is up. He lines a foul ball to right field out of play. Herrera does the same thing. He breaks for third again. And it's clear that he is still thinking about the missed opportunity to tag because it was pretty basic knowledge to tag up on that play. Then what happens? Contreras hits a hard hit ball to center, and it doesn't look like it's going to fall. As far as hard as it hit, it still looks like it's going right to Julio Rodriguez. And Ivan Herrera breaks for third. And Rodriguez kind of looks a little surprised, like, what's going on? Easily corrals the fly ball and just kind of lobs it to second base for an 8-6 double play, inning over. Yeah, you know the saying, you see something new at the ballpark each day. Well, I had never seen a two-batter inning before until Wednesday night, so that's something. Um, that overall play, two critical miscues on the base paths cannot happen. But I do want to, one, commend Herrera's comments after the game talking to local media. He did not mince words. He was there at his locker waiting for us, took full accountability. Here's a quote that I'll read from him. He said, and I'm not using the full language here, I effed up. The first one, I thought the ball had top spin if it was going to land, which it didn't. I kept thinking about that, and then I effed up again. Herrera went on to say, I got to learn from that, just try to be better. I just kept thinking, trying to make up for the first one. All of that was in my head. So clearly, this is a guy who got caught up but made a mistake and let that mistake carry over into the next play. That can't happen. He knows it. The Cardinals know it. They kept his bat in the lineup in case the game stayed tied. It did, but when he ended he was the final out in the 12th. When it became time for him to be the automatic runner in the 13th, it was not Herrera who took over at second base. It was Jordan Walker. So that was pretty telling to me. Here's what I really want to point out about that play. The St. Louis Cardinals, at its core, is a fundamentally sound baseball team. We know this. That's kind of just the backbone of George Kissel, of the St. Louis Cardinals in general. But when you are rebuilding and when you are developing players at the major league level, situations like Herrera's will unfortunately occur. So when I say Cardinals baseball is going to look a little bit different as they work through this rebuild, this is exactly what I'm talking about. Mistakes are going to happen. Players are going to do things that used to be inexcusable in prior seasons with the Cardinals organization in particular. I mean, this play didn't even show up in the box score, but on a bunt play in the 10th with a runner on second, both Nolan Gorman and Wilson Contreras crashed on the ball, popped up in foul territory. There was nobody covering third base. Thomas Ajacey, who was playing shortstop for Masyn Winn, more on him later, broke to cover second and left third base open. That runner could have easily advanced to third, but the Cardinals were able to recover. Things like that. These are what these young players are going to have to experience in the big leagues. You can't replicate a major league environment in AAA. They have to learn these things at the big league level as they go through the rebuild. Now, it doesn't make it any easier for fans, I will say. But this is the only way these guys are going to learn. So at the end of the day, Herrera made a mistake. Is it going to make or break him? No. Was it frustrating for fans watching? Was it a pivotal moment in the game? Absolutely. But that's not why the Mariners were able to sweep the Cardinals over the weekend. It really came down to an inability to score against a very good pitching staff. Silver lining, the Cardinals' new director of pitching, Matt Pierpont, came from the Seattle Mariners. So if you liked what you saw from Brian Wu, George Kirby, Logan Gilbert, they didn't even see Luis Castillo, you're in luck because the guy that helped form Seattle Mariners pitching is now trying to do the same thing for the St. Louis Cardinals. All right, guys, we'll take a quick break. We'll hear from our pals at DraftKings, and then we'll get into the Masyn Winn conundrum. The Cardinal shortstop has a torn meniscus, and he's going to need surgery over the offseason, and he's going to play through it. We'll be right back. Your season, your shot. The NFL season is rolling, and every touchdown can bring you closer to a payout with DraftKings Sportsbook, an official sports betting partner of the NFL. From first touchdown score to anytime TD props or the thrill of live in-game betting, every snap is loaded with opportunity. You can check out available lines and odds for each week on the DraftKings Sportsbook app. Lines and odds are subject to change. New customers, this one is for you. Bet just $5 and get $200 in bonus bets instantly. Plus, score over $200 off NFL Sunday Ticket from YouTube and YouTube TV. Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app and use code FOUL. That's code FOUL to get $200 in bonus bets instantly when you place your first $5 bet, plus over $200 off NFL Sunday Ticket from YouTube and YouTube TV. In partnership with DraftKings, the crown is yours.
Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. 21 and over. Physically present in Missouri. Eligibility restrictions apply. Bonus bets expire 7 days after issuance. Excludes customers who redeem pre-launch sign-up offer. Terms at sportsbook.draftkings.com/promos.
All right, in case you missed it, Masyn Winn is managing a meniscus tear. You can read about this up on The Athletic. This came to light late Tuesday after the Cardinals' 5-3 loss to the Seattle Mariners. Masyn Winn was supposed to be in the lineup on Tuesday. He was a late scratch. We knew he'd been dealing with knee pain, and the Cardinals were kind of evaluating that on a day-to-day basis. So when he was scratched roughly about 15 minutes before first pitch on Tuesday, even though the Cardinals had not yet given an official reason, it was pretty safe to assume that it was a knee thing. We got more clarity, finally, Tuesday night after the game where Masyn Winn talked to St. Louis-based reporters, and Ollie Marmol later disclosed right after that Winn has a meniscus tear in his right knee, and he's going to undergo, I never say this word correctly, arthroscopic surgery or a scope surgery over the offseason. That is a minimal invasive surgery. So I want to pump the brakes right there. Anytime that we hear surgery, it's human nature to freak out. Okay. This is a very limited invasive surgery. I mean, he'll be able to walk out of the room under his own power after the surgery is done. The Cardinals medical team does not believe that Masyn Winn will have any further risk in making this tear worse. Masyn wants to play every day, so the Cardinals are going to manage him on a day-by-day basis, hope to avoid the IL, and finish the season strong. And I think it's very clear talking to Masyn how important he feels it is for him to play every game when healthy. So I get why fans would be like, well, if he needs surgery, why is he playing? If he has a torn meniscus, why is he playing? So let me try to answer some of these questions because I do think it's comes across a little bit more complicated than it actually is. I'll go ahead and read this from The Athletic. When we talked to Masyn after the game, he was the one who first brought up the concept of surgery happening probably as soon as the offseason begins. Masyn said, some stuff is probably going to have to be done this offseason to help me out, but I want to finish the year as strong as possible. I hate not playing games, but going forward, if I'm going to play the rest of the year out, maybe taking a day off here and there isn't a bad idea. I was told I probably can't do too much worse to it, so that's why I want to be out there. Knock on wood, if I can't hurt myself any further because of this, then I want to be out there. The Cardinals have 15 games remaining in their schedule. Masyn Winn was hopeful he'd be able to play on Wednesday. That was not the case. He was not in the lineup today, was not a live option for the Cardinals on Wednesday. With the off day on Thursday, the Cardinals are hoping that he'd be able to play on Friday. Again, if there's no further risk of making this tear any worse, which the Cardinals medical team believes that is the case, and I do not in any sense or any capacity believe that if it was different, they would still let him play. And Masyn wants to be out there. And the surgery that he's going to undergo is not going to impact his offseason or his 2026 under any means. Okay, fine. Plenty of players play hurt, play with some sort of tear. I think Masyn is smart, and he's been very honest with Ollie Marmol about when he can play and when he can't. So we're going to continue to see him. Now, if things get worse, they'll put him on the injured list. The Cardinals are 4.5 games back from the Mets in the final wild card spot. They're 3 games under 500. Mathematically, yes, they're still in it. Realistically, not so much. But Masyn wants to play. I'll go in and I'll continue reading some of these quotes just to give his perspective a little bit more. Masyn said, I feel I owe it to these guys to finish the year strong. I definitely don't want to cash it in this early. Technically, we still have a shot. So I still want to go out there and compete for that. I want to do it for my pitchers. I know these guys really want me out there at shortstop, and I want to be there. I'm going to have time in the offseason to recover, so I feel like I can play this one out. If things change, there are options, right? Thomas Ajacey can play shortstop. Brendan Donovan should return on Friday. We'll have a rehab update for him later in the episode. One thing that is not under consideration, barring anything super unusual, is the call-up of top prospect J.J. Weatherholt, who returned to the Memphis Redbirds lineup on Wednesday after missing the last 5 games with general soreness from a non-baseball ailment, per a team spokesperson. So he was the DH for Memphis today. He'll resume back to the field as early as Thursday, if not by the weekend, and everything is full go there. But the Cardinals still are not entertaining calling up their top prospect, regardless of his 1.015 OPS and his over 300 batting average. Again, this comes down to 40-man roster construction. Less to do with service time, more that he doesn't need to be protected. And the person in charge of activating the 40-man roster right now, John Mozeliak, is not going to be the person in charge of managing J.J. Weatherholt's career if that time blooms. So we can unfortunately hit the pause button on seeing J.J. Weatherholt at some point this year, unless, again, something completely crazy out of left field happens. For right now, you'll continue to see Masyn Winn, hopefully avoid the injured list, play through this pain, undergo a scope surgery probably in October, and be good to go for a, quote, very normal for the Cardinals medical team offseason and hopefully a 2026 season as well. It's worth noting that right now, Masyn Winn stands as a lead candidate for the National League Gold Glove at shortstop. He is having one of the best defensive seasons by a Cardinal shortstop in franchise history. I'll read you guys some stats. He leads MLB in outs above average at 22, and he leads all MLB shortstops with a .994 fielding percentage. He's made just 3 errors all season. He's also on pace to post the highest full season fielding percentage by a Cardinal shortstop in club history. So lots to play for if you're Masyn Winn. Again, if he doesn't feel like he's hurting himself or putting his future at risk, then you manage it and play day by day and hope that the surgery goes in there and cleans some things up so he's not in pain come 2026. So I hear your skepticism. Again, anytime I think that you hear surgery or tear, you fear the worst. But this is a situation the Cardinals feel like, and Masyn feels like they have a hold on, so they will continue doing that. More injury updates await for you all. Brendan Donovan, Nolan Arenado started rehab assignments. We'll break those down and when those two players could be back after a message from Omaha Steaks.
We are longtime fans of Omaha Steaks, and I am drooling looking at the website right now, featuring USDA certified tender steaks, and also during their Red Hot Sale event going on right now this fall, 50% off site-wide at omahasteaks.com. Plus for the FT fam, an extra $35 off with promo code FOUL at checkout. You've been a big fan of Omaha Steaks since your early days as a pro.
Brings me back to my low A-ball days, because we used to survive on this. We get a big order at the beginning of the year, cook them on our little electric grill, can of peas, some mac and cheese. That was dinner for 4. We survived off Omaha Steaks. It still has a special place in my heart.
You thrived.
Well,
you guys ate like kings.
Yeah.
That's special. Get fired up for fall grilling with Omaha Steaks. Visit omahasteaks.com for 50% off site-wide during their Red Hot Sale event. And for an extra $35 off, promo code FOUL at checkout. 50% off at omahasteaks.com and an extra $35 off with promo code FOUL at checkout. See site for details. Dig in.
As I'm looking through my scorebook, again, that I'm so proud of, shout out Bob Carpenter in his final season as the broadcaster for the Washington Nationals. He also does a baseball scorebook, and I use it every year. That was a 3-hour and 44-minute baseball game. And though I can't believe that used to be the normal. Like before the pitch clock, you got a 3:30 baseball game, and you're like, yeah, that's standard. This baseball game was exhausting. I cannot believe we used to do that every day. Anyway, let's talk about some of your favorite players returning to the Cardinals lineup. Brendan Donovan, Nolan Arenado began rehab assignments with AA Springfield this week. John King did as well. Brendan Donovan played, I think he had 3 at-bats today for the Springfield Cardinals. He will be activated Friday before the 3-game series against the Brewers. Nolan Arenado had his first game of his rehab assignment as the DH for Springfield on Wednesday. He'll play in a couple more. He's targeting a Monday activation before the Cardinals' 3-game series started the homestand against the Reds. So rotation reinforcements are on the way. Wilson Contreras, after served his 4-game suspension and returned to the lineup, Alec Burleson is back. So we're starting to see more of the regulars come in, which means I firmly believe the team's strikeout rate will go down. The Cardinals had, let me count them, 14 strikeouts on Wednesday. And a lot of that, just when you look at the players in the bottom of the lineup, they're guys that are very new or raw to this league. And, you know, Brendan Donovan doesn't strike out a lot. Alec Burleson doesn't strike out a lot. Nolan Arenado doesn't strike out a lot. So you're seeing a lot of these inflated numbers because they had been replaced with players who do strike out a lot. So this should help the offense desperately because they need it. And it will, again, complicated playing time over the final 2 weeks of the season. But I think we've seen enough out of each player at this point to kind of judge their seasons. Of course, you want guys like Jordan Walker to finish strong, Nolan Gorman to finish strong, Lars Nootbaar, et cetera. But every single player, I think, has had a substantial enough runway, playing time, whatever overused term you want to call it, for us to make decisions about whether or not their seasons were successful, what they can build upon, what they did well, what they didn't. So Brendan Donovan should be back Friday. Nolan Arenado should be back Monday. Whether or not these two are Cardinals come spring training next year, that's a conversation for what will be a very busy offseason for us all. But right now, some roster reinforcements are coming back. No word on the corresponding moves yet. The players most likely to see their playing time cut a little bit. I would say Thomas Ajayci. He had a 4-hit night tonight. That was exciting. Jose Fermin. And we'll see what this means for Nolan Gorman and Jordan Walker. Walker did not get the start on Tuesday or Wednesday's game. Lars Nootbaar has gotten the bulk of the starts. Alec Burleson is going to continue being a starter in that lineup. He's deserved it. So we'll see how the playing time shakes out. The Cardinals take on the Brewers. They're probably on a flight now to Milwaukee. Again, thank goodness it's an off day. The team charter is scheduled to land at 7 a.m. Central Time, so they will most likely sleep most of the day, enjoy the night off in Milwaukee before a 3-game set. The Cardinals have 5 series left in the season. That's insane. Four of those 5 series are against NL Central opponents. They will go 3 against the Brewers at American Family Field, 3 against the Reds at Busch Stadium, 3 against the Brewers again at Busch Stadium, and they'll finish the season on the road, 6 games, 3 in San Francisco, 3 at Wrigley Field against the Chicago Cubs. So division action picking up. That National League wild card is all over the place. The Brewers are apparently the best team in baseball. Again, I do not know how they keep getting away with this, but they do. They are, again, a very athletic, very talented, very exciting team to watch. So I actually think, and you'll hear this around the league, the Cardinals could learn a lot from the Brewers model for how they evaluate players, how resourceful they are based on how limited spending that they do. It's very impressive what the Milwaukee Brewers have been able to do again. And one of these days I'm going to start the season believing in them, because every year I'm like, no, they can't keep doing this. And then every year they keep doing it. Nothing the Cardinals would like to do more than play spoiler for a lot of these teams, especially in the division. The Reds are very much in the postseason hunt. So are the Cubs and the Giants. So plenty of time to wreak chaos. And that's what we like to do. So thanks as always for watching Cardinal Territory. I'm going to get some sleep because I obviously need it. We'll be back over the weekend with some Cardinals Brewers breakdowns and hopefully a better outcome at American Family Field than T-Mobile Park. Again, I'm your host, Katie Wu. Thanks for watching Cardinal Territory. We'll be back very soon.